back. It's time for the AFC. Moved on to the conference. We're going to start with the AFC South. Nick, I will start with you. Who do you see getting fourth in the AFC South?
I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts because I think they trade away Jonathan Taylor and they just splurge. They find someone in the draft to go with Anthony Richardson next year.
All right. Tony?
I agree with Nick. I think it's the Colts in last as well. Development year for Anthony Richardson. They don't care about the record.
They clearly don't care about shit right now in Indianapolis. Yeah, I got the Colts. I see them easily as the number one competitor. I said earlier that I see them as the only team competing with the Cardinals for that number one pick. They're that bad. So, Nick, jump back to you. Third in the AFC South.
I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. I think they're better this year under D'Amico Ryans. They'll have an improved defense, but I think they still finish third in this division.
Mr. Parlay.
I agree with Nick. I've got the Texans in third. The defense should be upgraded. A little growing pains for CJ Stroud on offense. I've got the Texans in third as well.
Seems like this is going to be a quick division. I have the Texans as well. No new notes. Moving on. Nick, who do you got second in the AFC South?
I'm going to go with the Titans. I think that they should still have a good year because they still have Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill will have a decent year, but he doesn't have much to throw to. It'll be the Derrick Henry game. They finished second in division.
Be the Derrick Henry keep healthy game. Tony, who do you got finishing second in the AFC South?
I've got the Jags finishing second. I think that we're a little too high on Trevor Lawrence and the Doug Peterson connection. I don't really think the Jags are that good of a team yet. I think they got a little lucky at the end of that season. If I recall, I'm pretty sure the Titans were starting Josh Dobbs at quarterback in the last game against Trevor Lawrence for a playoff spot. So I'm thinking if maybe Tannehill is in that game goes a little differently. So I have the Jags in second.
All right. Well, discrepancy finally. I have the Titans as second in that division. Yeah, I think they're a mediocre team as well. A mediocre team in a bad division. And so, yeah, I think that the Jags will continue doing what they do, but I'll talk about them further. Nick, clearly know who you have winning the AFC South. Tell us why.
I think just Trevor Lawrence, another year in this system under Doug Peterson. They were gaining momentum toward the end of last year, and I think they still build it. This division isn't that good. They'll have 4 easy games a year, so I think they win this division.
All right. Tony?
Mike Vrabel's going to come beat both of you guys up. You guys are sleeping on this Titans team and him as a coach. He's a great coach. They signed DeAndre Hopkins. I'm done betting against Ryan Tannehill. That Titans team is winning this goddamn division. AFC South isn't good.
That's what it seems like it really comes down to. Is you just you're tired of betting against Ryan Tannehill.
Please note that in the book. So when
this
I'm
is the first time I'm not going for Ryan Tannehill.
See,
you note that too.
Note it.
Same.
End of the season.
All right. Write it in the book.
He's writing it down.
It's official now. It's in the system. I have the Jags, Trevor Lawrence. I see them just continuing, like I said, doing what they're doing. In a bad division though. So, yeah, I wish I had more to say on the Jags, but I don't. because they don't have Urban Meyer or Tim Tebow. They're actually interesting to talk about. Moving on to the AFC North. Back to you, Nick. Who do you have getting fourth in the AFC North?
I'm gonna go with the Browns. I think, yeah. I think they could still have a good year. They have Deshaun Watson. They have Nick Chubb. So, but I think the 3 teams ahead of them are clearly better.
All right, Tony, who you got fourth? Fourth in the North.
The Bengals. I said earlier, I think Joe Burrow is going to be injured and miss a couple games, and that division's too tough, too close. Bengals last. Write that one down.
It's going in the book. It's
Sorry.
official.
Burrow misses 4 games.
That's wild. But my pick just as wild. I have the Steelers. And as I say that, I realize they also have Mike Tomlin on their team, who I don't think's ever had a losing season. So who's the idiot now? Most likely me. Nick. Who do you have third in the AFC North?
I think I'm gonna piggyback that. I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I think Kenny Pickett has a good year. His sophomore campaign. I think George Pickens has a good year. Najee Harris should have a bounce back year. I traded for him last year in fantasy and it was a disappointment. So, but this is going to be a good division. Unlike the AFC South, which we just talked about. So it's really hard. These teams are close. So these being third in this division doesn't make them a bad team.
All right. Tony?
Browns. I don't like him. I don't like this Deshaun Watson situation. So it makes it hard to talk about this team and actually evaluate them. They do have good players, and I see the move they made to get Elijah Moore from the Jets. It was very crafty, I thought. Add with Amari Cooper. I'm a little bitter, I don't know. I don't see them handling adversity well from what I've seen in the history of the quarterback's personal experiences. So I got the Browns in third. Long story short.
Yeah. Tony, I will note your honesty in the book. I will give you that. It's noted. I have the Browns. I don't see that being sustainable at all.
Yep.
I feel like eventually there's going to be tension between Deshaun Watson and that front office at some point this season because he's not going to be playing to the value of his contract, and they're going to want to renegotiate at some point, and he's going to be like, no. But dear Lord, seeing the cap hit that he has for the Browns these upcoming years, you gotta restructure that contract. You gotta. All right, Nick, I'll pop back to you. Second in the AFC North.
I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think the Ravens have a bounce back year. Lamar has a bounce back year. But I still think that the the Bengals are the team in this division.
All right. Tony, you're clearly not fucking picking the Ravens. So who you got for us?
Steelers in second in this division. Kenny Pickett has that bounce back season. They're well coached, good defense. They're gonna surprise people. They're gonna be in the playoff mix.
It's probably more likely to happen, unfortunately. All right. I have the Ravens. To Nick's point, I think it'll be a tough division, but I think the Ravens getting second, they'll still be a playoff team. But I think they'll be neck and neck with the Bengals this season. I think that's going to be a tough battle between those two teams. But Lamar Jackson, he does need to have a bounce back year this year. Plain and simple. All right, Nick, we know who you have Pickett to win the division. Tell us
Yeah.
why.
I just believe that the Bengals are still the best team. I know Burrow may be out a few games, a game or two, whatever it is, at the beginning of the season. But I think as the season goes on, just the weapons he has around them and the defense that they have, I think that they will win this division.
All right. Tony, tell us why you have the Ravens.
I'm betting on that bounce back year from Lamar. There's no more contract questions looming. That's out the door, and they actually invested in some passing weapons for him, new offensive coordinator as well. I think it all clicks, and I think they have a good year and they win that division.
All right. Wouldn't be surprised, Tony, to be honest, but I have those question marks around the Ravens, rightfully so. But I'm going with the Bengals.
Fair.
Yeah. Previous episode in our player picks for the season, I had Joe Burrow as my MVP. Third time is the charm. Picking him as the MVP. So let's go. Yeah, I see the Bengals being just as good as they were last year. So moving on. AFC West. Nick, who do you have finishing fourth in the AFC West? Please don't be the Broncos. Please don't be the Broncos. Please don't be the Broncos.
I have the Raiders finishing last in that division. I think I've always Jimmy G's a system QB. I don't think that he will do well there. I think he's going to have fun in some of the Las Vegas other establishments and maybe sit out half the year. We may even see some owner become player at some point.
No. Stopping that right now. Not happening. Not on my watch, bub. Not on my watch. All right. I'll go next. I got the Raiders as well. They don't seem good. You know I don't like Josh McDaniel. So, and then Jimmy G, just health issues there. Josh Jacobs holding out. And then every game for them's practically going to be an away game. Let's be honest. So yeah, Raiders. Tony, who do you got?
I am in agreement with the Raiders being in last place. I would just like to go ahead and confirm that Josh McDaniels, not a good coach. Devontae Adams, unhappy with that situation. Josh Jacobs, unhappy with that situation. Max Crosby, Billings pick for defensive player of the year. GG, assistant quarterback. Come on, man. This is not going to go good. Raiders are going to be the worst team in football. That's my pick for that as well.
So many issues with this team, and you forgot that Devontae Adams was even on this fucking team. So that's all you need to know about this team.
It's bad, man. I'm telling you. It's bad.
All right, Nick.
Other than Max Crosby.
Max Crosby, though.
Lone bright spot.
He can irritate some quarterbacks.
Hey. Check out quarterbacks on Netflix.
Oh.
Cashed another check. Thanks, Netflix. Nick, who do you have for third in the AFC West?
I'm sorry, Chris, but I got your Denver Broncos. I think it's year one with this Peyton Russell Wilson connection, plus the injuries are already starting to pile up at wide receiver. I think they finished third in this division.
I have a Broncos finishing third as well. and I'm not sorry. But like, yeah, I think Sean Payton is in this year to clean house, change the culture. And clearly from what I've seen, like the culture needs to change. Like there's too much carryover from previous years and just yeah, a lot of things need to start fresh there in Denver. I think this is kind of as Nick said, like this is year one, year
Mhm.
zero of that experiment. And yeah, and I think long term you're gonna see Russell Wilson gone in 1 to 2 years. I think you're gonna see a lot of those wide receivers gone. I think really a lot of the only holdovers you're gonna see is on defense. Beyond that, yeah, like it's a losing culture there, plain and simple, and I think that's gonna carry over into the season. I don't think the Broncos are necessarily gonna be good or interesting, and that sucks. But I hope that Sean Payton can right the ship at the very least. Tony, what do you got? Hopefully the
Same.
Chargers.
Nope, same. For all the reasons you said about the Broncos, the last season of Russell Wilson starting, it's over. And yeah, they'll clean house and try and find a new quarterback and a new way forward. Sean Payne will figure out what works there otherwise.
Talked in a previous episode, you can't be paying that much for a quarterback that's gonna probably be in a run first offense.
Yeah.
That's not what you paid him to be. You paid him to be Drew Brees, to be Tom Brady, to be Peyton Manning, and he's
Yeah.
been far from that. So don't see this lasting long. Most likely will go down as one of the worst trades in NFL history, is my hypothesis on this one. So yeah. Go Nuggets. 2023 champions. Remember that. All right, Nick. Who you got second in this division?
I
Well,
have
we all know who we picked second in this division. Why did you pick
Do-
the Chargers second? in
Do
this
we have a clean
division?
sweep throughout? Actually, do we have a clean sweep throughout the entire division?
We
then?
know we do. Come
Yeah,
on.
so yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because it's still a Patrick Mahomes division, the
No.
same reason why on previous episode I picked him for MVP.
Yep.
It's still a division until they
So,
say otherwise.
we all know. We all
He's tied for
know
that
who our
team for the
picks
next
are.
10
Yeah.
years, so
So I'll go around. I'll start with you, Tony. Chargers making the playoffs, yes or no? Go.
No.
Nick.
yes.
I say yes. I think the Chargers are one of the wild card spots.
hmm
Yeah. So, does anyone want to say anything further on the Chiefs? Or should we just move on to the next division?
Do we need to?
Nope. Chargers missed playoffs. Fire Brandon Staley. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. That's something new. If you want to know more about the Chiefs, check out quarterbacks on Netflix. On to the AFC East. We're at Nick's division.
Mhm.
Now this should be fun. We'll actually start with Tony. Who do you have finishing fourth in the AFC East?
Patriots. Come on, man. I know that they finally got an offensive coordinator, right? They brought back Bill O'Brien to call plays for Mac Jones and everyone. Division's really, really tough. Those are some good teams. I don't have faith in them. 7-10.
In the presence of Nick, we use his formal name, McCorkle Jones. Yeah, I have the Patriots finishing fourth in this division. That division is fucking stacked.
Mhm.
Aside from, I guess, the NFC East, the most stacked division in football. And so, yeah, Patriots they're going to be the odd man out in this one. McCorkle Jones, I don't know, man. Like, do you see him lasting another year or two?
I mean, I think that the addition of Bill O'Brien is going to help him now that he actually has an offensive coordinator calling the offensive plays. It should definitely help. And
Oh,
I
I
mean,
forgot my
it didn't hurt.
pencil.
I who's the what's Bill Belichick's son's name? Steven Belichick?
Yeah.
He still scares me a little bit, but I think he has that defense right. And the Patriots have always had a good they're always gonna have a good defense. But I just don't think McCorkle has enough on offense this year to be able to compete in this division. With, like you said, the rest of the teams are stacked.
Yeah. Hot seat Zeke.
Oh. What about Bill Belichick? We'll kind of pause on this. Like, what's going on there? What's his fate in the league? Like, is he gonna like? I don't know, honestly.
I honestly think the only reason he did not retire after Tom left is because he's chasing Don Shula's record for most wins, and that's the only thing keeping him in this league. He's stubborn enough to go through 4 or 5 win seasons just to get there. And it would actually be kind of disappointing if that's how it happened. I would rather if he were to do it. If he were to do it, I'd rather them do it on high notes rather than dragging it out for a few years.
I would take a lot of satisfaction in seeing Bill Belichick be exposed late in his career. So, hey man, if that's the route he wants to go, bring it on. All right, Tony, back to you. This is where we start, cooking with fire. Who you got third in this division?
The Jets.
Okay.
Yep. Like Nick was saying in an earlier episode, the weapons around Aaron Rodgers aren't really as great as I think they are hyped up to be with that team. So I think that they're going to finish third in this stacked division.
Nick?
I agree. I think Aaron Rodgers does not live up to the hype. I think that team, that offensive line specifically, doesn't hold up and let him get to the same team he threw to last year. I mean, I just the defense will keep them in it because the Jets do have a great defense. Just like I said in a earlier episode, for my bust, I think it's Aaron Rodgers.
All right. So all three of us have the Jets. So then my next question is actually going to be, do the Jets make the playoffs? Tony, I'll start with you. Yes or no? Go.
Yes.
Nick, next.
No. No.
All right. Gonna go with me. I don't think they make the playoffs. So.
Not too happy about it. Not too happy about my yes, but I have them as the last spot.
All right. No, that's fair. Like,
Yeah.
I'm certainly not gonna shit on you for having that opinion. Like, they do have Aaron Rodgers. So, and you have a little more experience with that guy than us two. So, yeah.
Unfortunately.
All right. Still cooking. Second in this division. Here comes the true kind of just tiebreaker. Tony, Bills or Dolphins? Who do you got second in this division?
Bills. Bills are gonna have
Oh,
a step back. Bills second in this division.
shit. I might be the odd man out on this. Nick, who do you have finishing second?
I'm also going with the Bills. I think they keep flirting with that wannabe great team, but it's just like they did in the 90s when they went to 4 straight Super Bowls. They're just not there.
Yeah. You could see you could see they missed Brian Dable last year.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. The loss of that plus losing Singletary as their It was Singletary last year that was their starting running back, right?
Mm-hmm.
That just further makes Josh Allen the heart of this team. Like, it's gonna go as far as he goes, and he's one of those diving for a touchdowns away from this season going downhill.
Knock on wood. Knock on the holy notebook. I have the Dolphins finishing second, but making the playoffs. I think the Bills, though, my personal opinion is I think the DeMar Hamlin game against the Bengals just truly kind of like sent their season on a different direction. I'm not going to say it derailed it, but it just changed their mind space so much. Whereas I think if they would have just came out and won that game against the Bengals, it would have been a much different season, I feel like. And so that's kind of the only thing I'm clinging on to, is I feel like that there's still some semblance of that Bills team. And so I see them winning this division. We'll talk if they make it further later on, but yeah, I think that game, it changed a lot last year. And so that's my reason for picking the Bills, is I think undeterred, if they carry that energy forward, they can do great things. So,
Thanks for watching the Sports Budz. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe.